Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and having a great day as usual. There's a lot of news today, so get ready, and this isn't even all of it. To start things off, Bitcoin Foundation founder Charlie Sherm has gone on record to forecast that May 2018 will be the last time Bitcoin costs less than $10,000. In a tweet from May 3rd, Sherm, who began returning to the cryptocurrency industry, has vowed to propagate Bitcoin's benefits to a wider audience, claiming this month would mark a significant turning point in Bitcoin markets. He says May 2018 will be the last time we ever see Bitcoin under $10,000. Sherm's enthusiasm comes at a time when Bitcoin prices continue to reverse the downtrend, which began in December 2017. The moment Bitcoin is at $9,839. We are so close to hitting $10,000, and I'm not trying to jinx it. And I keep looking at the price. We're so close, and I know that when it hits that 10,000, everyone's just waiting for this moment to happen, and we are expecting the market to kind of skyrocket upwards. But there's been so much resistance for hitting 10,000, and I think, or rather, I'm ready to just finally hit it. Portugal is in the news, which is kind of rare, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Portugal's parliament is set to discuss cryptocurrency payment regulations this week, with the goal of adopting a new legal framework for cryptocurrency payment services while guaranteeing users safety using these services. According to local news outlet Jornal de Negocios, hope I said that right, applicable sanctions and the issuance of digital currencies, presumably ICOs, will also be discussed. I'm sure they're going to be discussing that. The government will reportedly discuss cryptocurrencies so new payment services can emerge in the market while ensuring users can choose between safe, cost-effective options. Per the Portuguese government, regulations will allow cryptocurrency-related services to expand within the country, which will benefit consumers by promoting competition while ensuring safety and transparency in the issuance of cryptocurrencies. This is another country who has now come forward. I think we have confirmation as to what cryptocurrencies are in France, if I'm not mistaken. I think Germany's still a bit murky, if you will. Portugal's finally coming along. I don't think we have news from Spain yet, but I assume many of the countries that aren't being discussed or that aren't talking about this, I assume they may kind of do like a blanket type thing, as in whatever other countries are kind of doing with cryptocurrencies, they'll probably adopt the exact same thing. A lot of countries don't seem too concerned with it, and I assume they think that this won't be as big as it's going to be. So I am kind of assuming that many countries are kind of waiting for the bigger countries, if I can say that, to see exactly what they will do and where they're leaning towards, and this is exactly what they will end up adopting. Next up, and something that does not surprise me at all, and I kind of saw this coming, the Central Bank of Russia is preparing to transfer payments on SPFS, its domestic version of SWIFT, to the blockchain in 2019. A local news media outlet, Izvestia, I cannot say that, reports on May 4th, quoting a source close to the Bank of Russia, authorities are closely deciding on a blockchain solution on which to send payments. This, they say, could either be a homegrown effort or make use of existing options, namely Ethereum. Two banking sources familiar with the situation confirm the plans to the publication. The move marks the largest major commitment from Russia regarding blockchain technology, an area which the Kremlin has made known it is highly interested in exploiting. This week, reports emerge that Grigory Marshalko, an employee at State Security Service, the FSB, told the International Standards Organization, the ISO, at a meeting in Tokyo in 2017 that blockchain will belong to Russia. He says, look, the internet belongs to the Americans, but blockchain will belong to us. He is reported to have said. There was a lot of... Okay, so one... Ethereum's constantly in the news, like I said before. I think something big is happening behind the scenes because there's no way. We've had If you look at my last videos, like my last 5 or 6 videos, I was looking through them, and it's constantly news about Ethereum, and I think it's happening at a very interesting time. Not only is EOS launching soon, like I've said before, but the entire backing behind Ethereum is kind of coming forward now. Everyone who was or is or wants to be a part of Ethereum is now, kind of staking their claim. I think that's the way you say that. And also, there were a lot of rumors before that Vladimir Putin had actually met up with Vitalik Buterin at some point. They had coffee, they had tea, whatever the case might have been. They were talking about blockchain. There is a documentary, I think, from Vice. You can, if you like, go to the little tab above, go to YouTube again, like on another tab, and open up YouTube and type in New Kids on the Blockchain. It's like a short documentary about the blockchain and, you know, people who are really into it and the head figures of blockchain. They're talking to them, trying to discuss why is cryptocurrency so great and cool. And there's a point where the guy who's interviewing, he's talking to Vitalik, and I think Vitalik actually mentions that he did actually have a meeting. Like, it's confirmed that he met up with Vitalik Buterin, and he also was like being escorted through Russia. And they were showing him this and they were showing him that because they were trying to convince the people behind Ethereum to move part of their operations to Russia, because Russia is seemingly dead serious at this point on controlling or being like the leader in blockchain technology. So if they do end up choosing Ethereum, like I always say, one of my major backings, or what I think when it comes to what makes a blockchain valuable, is what is kind of built on top of it and what is kind of integrated into it. As of now, the main thing that we've seen for blockchain technology, or people talking about it, are dApps. They're even in the same freaking photo. Everyone's talking about what new apps will be built on top of this, what new so-and-so. But when governments start building their infrastructure on top of certain blockchains, especially on Ethereum, there is no way that government will ever let that blockchain die. Think about that. Like, can you imagine America putting their blockchain on top of a coin, and then the coin slowly starts to die, or the blockchain slowly starts to die? They would never, ever let that happen. Just going to leave that there. If they do end up confirming that they're going to be using Ethereum, that is going to be absolutely massive, not only for Ethereum, but for cryptocurrencies, especially because this market is barely 10 years old. Continuing on, Venezuela is in the news. The president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, announced the creation of a digital cryptocurrency bank for the youth and students, which will begin its activities with 20 million petros, a national cryptocurrency. Petro launched on February 2018. It is a national oil-backed cryptocurrency developed by the government of Venezuela under the direction of the president. The move has been widely condemned as a way to avoid the sanctions from the US, which is kind of true. The country's own opposition has condemned the Petro, saying that it was illegal and merely stealing the country's assets. The president states that $1.2 billion worth of cryptocurrency would be given to the new institutions, which would support the productive initiatives of the sector of the population. He also stressed the importance of each university having to farm for the mining of cryptocurrencies to continue with the strengthening of the national economy. Now, there are a lot of people who do not like this president for his political beliefs, whatever the country might be under. There are a lot of people who do not like that he has created the Petro, or what it stands for, or the entire backing by Petrol. I haven't read that much on him, so I can't say too much about him. I don't know if he has been a tyrant or whatever the case might be. You know, you read a little bit here, you read a little bit there. I think he's a genius for doing this. He has made it so, I read this before and I didn't know if it was true or not, that he is telling every university, and I think it's also like, not museums, like hospitals and stuff like that, that they have to start mining for cryptocurrencies. If you think about how far cryptocurrencies has come, and where it's going to be in 10 years. There's also a huge thing in the country where their normal national currency, the actual fiat currency that they have, has completely exploded because of hyperinflation. Like, the entire thing is just garbage now, and tons of people in the country are mining cryptocurrencies themselves. If your president starts backing for the people to mine cryptocurrencies, tell schools to do it, and I'm sure there's been some point where normal people have been maybe, inclined to start doing it as well, this could lead to a massive shift in this country's wealth within the next couple of years. Because like I said, I'm sure normal people are also doing this as well. Not to spend too much time on this, but I think what he's doing, or what is actually happening in the country, whatever the opposition says, especially for the wealth of possibly normal people or just the country in general, if they're amassing a huge amount of cryptocurrencies, because it's also relatively cheap to mine cryptocurrencies in Venezuela as well, I'm interested to see exactly what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years to the country, and if cryptocurrencies are actually able to bring them out of this ridiculous situation that has been going on there. This is, like I said, I don't know his politics. I don't know him personally, obviously. But this is going to be a very interesting situation because not many countries have, or presidents or governments have told their people to mine cryptocurrency. That is a very, that shows a huge shift in exactly what's happening around the world. There's a lot of energy around the market now, if you hadn't been able to tell that. Maddie Greenspan, a senior analyst at eToro and a well-known Bitcoin expert, told The Express in an interview that the correction of Bitcoin from $20,000 was expected, and he sees the Bitcoin price surpassing its all-time high in the future with absolute certainty. He said, "I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not really a fortune teller or anything like that. I believe more than fear of regulation that declining from $20,000 peak was more of just a normal retracement." Greenspan said, emphasizing that an abrupt increase in value of an asset is often followed with a retractment. To be fair, I've said this many times before, Bitcoin was at $10,000 and around 2.5 weeks later, it shot up to $20,000. Just throw that out there. I think the market got a bit too hot, a bit too fast, especially my friend was joking and he said he was wondering how many people around Thanksgiving and Christmas were going to be talking with their families about cryptocurrencies and how much money they made. And he was completely correct because everyone was clearly talking about the money that they had made. Everyone threw money into the market. And this is kind of where we are now. Whenever the Bitcoin price moves and jumps in an order of magnitude, we need to see some sort of retractment on that. It's the same thing that happened if it jumped from 8 cents to 3.50, it had a retractment back to $1. That's a very normal thing. That's after that kind of leap. So if we look at it now, I believe we are about 5 or 6% up over the price a year ago. So many of these analysts are coming forward, and I still feel like they're just trying to tell people to start buying. We've had so much news like this over the last couple of days. All these people who are coming forward talking about, especially Bitcoin will never go under 10,000 again, and then it'll definitely go past its all-time high. I don't know if we'll definitely see those crazy numbers that they were talking about. Some people were talking about it's going to hit like 100,000 or 150,000 this year. That would be great. Only left to be seen. But to be fair, no one thought that we would hit $20,000 last year. That was not in anyone's head at all. Continuing on, Spencer Bogart, who is a partner at Blockchain Capital, said that other banks will follow Goldman Sachs' example in opening a crypto trading desk, according to CNBC's Fast Money on May 4th. Goldman Sachs reported yesterday that they would soon open a trading desk for Bitcoin contracts after being inundated with client requests. Although Bogart told CNBC that the news is definitely a big step, he doesn't think it's a perfect solution that all of a sudden now just opens the floodgates to the institutionalization of Bitcoin. Bogart added that this reasoning that banks will follow Goldman Sachs is not particularly because of Goldman Sachs' name, but because the market is so large, you can't ignore it anymore. I think every single bank, one, is already in this. There's, what's the saying? It's like no one tells you about something that they're not already in. These banks have been in cryptocurrencies for a while. It's now mainstream. So they're allowed to declare all of this. And I think, especially when it comes to going public, with talking about that you are using magic internet money, when you're talking about using cryptocurrencies, money that people can't really see or hold, everyone's waiting for a major name. When the, was it the stock exchange or was it the NASDAQ? I think it was the NASDAQ, when they were talking about that they would start trading cryptocurrencies or opening it up or having this on their thing. Everyone's waiting for a major company or financial institution to announce we are definitely in this, and everyone is going to tumble into the market. It's almost, I don't know how much clearer I could make this. We are so close for everything to kind of explode, and it's just kind of like, I just want it to happen already. So last up, the second community Ethereum development conference kicked off in Toronto today. The feature event technical talks by leading members of the Ethereum community on some of the most pressing ecosystem initiatives. The 3-day community Ethereum development conference, EdCon, kicked off in Toronto this morning. The nonprofit conference series, organized by the Ethereum application developer and consultancy firm LinkTime, is meant to serve as a type of Ethereum-specific TED Talk. Here, the technicalities of Ethereum, most advanced research are discussed alongside broader social and governmental issues as the platform continues to take shape. Notably, this year's schedule features talks on the latest developments in Ethereum switch to full proof of stake with Casper, while also promising more details on scalability solutions like sharding. After an introduction presentation featuring Ethereum co-founder Mihai Alisi, Joseph Poon, co-author of the white paper for the Lightning Network, gave a brief presentation on systemic security, mitigations for mass exits, atop of increasing importance for people who write EDCCs, also known as smart contracts. Once again, I think the timing is not suspect, but I think this was definitely all planned. The fact that this is happening, we've had so much news about Ethereum over the last couple of days. On that note, following all of this, why I think this is happening and why I think we've had all this news is because it has been announced on Monday, May 7th, the SEC is going to make their official decision on if Ethereum is a security or not. One of the head people from Ethereum a couple days ago, we were talking about it. He came forward and I thought it was weird. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not that weird. Came forward and said that he said he is fairly confident that Ethereum is not a security. And I sat there for a couple of minutes and I was like, why would you be so stupid to say that? Like, you can't have the audacity to declare that you are not a security before this has all happened. And then I was like, maybe they've been talking to people for months. Maybe this has, someone whispered this into the ear. I think they know exactly what's going to happen. If you notice, the price of Ethereum a couple of days ago was around $600. And now we are currently at 809, give or take, depending on when you may be watching this video. My current thinking is, if Ethereum is declared a security, the price will crumble. And I don't mean like a short. I think the price could drop down by anywhere from 20 to 30% because of panic. One, unjustified panic, because people don't understand exactly what it means to be a security. Like, they're not going to literally walk into the Ethereum office and pick up their computers and kind of walk out and say, we own the network. There'll just be a lot of, not back taxes, but things that the Ethereum people will have to pay. They will be penalized, etc., etc. The price will definitely drop, but eventually go back up. On the others, which also means that a lot of other coins, in fear of this, will start to decline as well. And this will probably usher in a new era for Bitcoin. That's just my thinking. Put what you think in the description below. If they are declared a security, what will happen to them? Because I think all other coins that are built on top of Ethereum would suffer some type of major setback, at least for the short term, because people have not read exactly what is supposed to happen or what is going to happen, and they think that it would be the end of Ethereum, which is completely false. Now, if Ethereum is indeed declared to be not a security, I told my friend this, and he kind of laughed at me. I don't know if he's watching the video. Ethereum has to double, more or less, 103, 104% increase in order to pass Bitcoin. We were very close to this before when we're getting to the end of the year. And this is one of the reasons why I think the price of Bitcoin shot from 10,000 to 20,000, because Ethereum was getting very, very close. Stick with me. If Ethereum, that has gone up $200 over the last 3 or 4 days after this guy declared that he was fairly certain that they are not a security, is declared not to be a security by the SEC, I am fairly certain the price of Ethereum could pass Bitcoin, as excitement over the idea of no regulations around Ethereum would skyrocket the price over the course of 3 days. We saw a couple of days ago in one of my other videos, the price of Bitcoin had gone up by, I think it was 2%, and Ethereum was 12%. Almost every single day it was constantly going up and up and up and up and up. This is just what I think, and I think we are very close to some sort of event happening that we could not or had not foreseen in our future, simply because of all of this. There's a huge amount of hype around Ethereum over the last couple of days. All of these announcements have been coming out with people talking about exactly what's going to happen with Ethereum, exactly what's going to happen with this, the upgrades that they have planned. Vitalik coming forward talking about sharding is very, very close. News about Casper, news about Plasma, news about the Ethereum Alliance relaunching themselves. It's all connected. at least in my head, if Ethereum has good news or has some type of, someone telling them on the side from the SEC, you're definitely not a security. We're just going to have a huge meeting about it, et cetera, et cetera. And they tell the 500 members of the Ethereum Alliance, this is when they kind of come forward. Did everyone kind of get what I'm saying? I think if, this is a major if, I'm not part of the SEC, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. If Ethereum is not declared a security, it is going to be a very interesting May in cryptocurrencies. Telling my friend, I think Ethereum and just the sheer hype around it, people will start to dump into the market, buying it because it is going to be in the news. I think you can also watch this on probably on YouTube. This will be it'll be on at 11 a.m. New York City time. So I believe that is 9 a.m. California time, which is 17 o'clock in Europe, mainland Europe. So I will definitely be watching this as well with like a bucket of popcorn waiting for all of this to happen. If Bitcoin gets pushed down to the number 2 coin, I do not know what is going to happen to the rest of the market, because as we know, the price of everything is dictated by Bitcoin because everything else is denominated in Satoshi. When the price of Bitcoin falls, everything else tends to follow. Now, what happens when Ethereum becomes number 1, if it becomes number 1, and people are taking their money out of Bitcoin, pushing it into Ethereum just because of sheer hype, and the price of Bitcoin is falling? What happens to all the altcoins? Like I said, I was talking to my friend about this. It's all hypothetical. I just want Monday to be, I want it to be Tuesday morning. Like, I want this to be completely over so we know exactly what's going to happen, because I think this could possibly dictate exactly what's going to happen for the crypto market for the rest of the year. If they get a big fat no, Bitcoin will probably reign supreme for 1,000 generations to come, simply because everyone will scream from the top of the hills, Bitcoin is not a security. I mean, yeah, this is just what I'm thinking. Like I said, tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys know I'm right. Like deep down inside, some of you don't want to admit it. We're interesting. A very interesting period of cryptocurrencies is about to come, and it's all going to be decided on Monday. So I'm very excited for all of this. I'm out of breath. That is going to do it for this video. There's still tons more news. I couldn't fit it into all of one video because it's just kind of, we never get any news over the weekend. And lo and behold, it's just an absolute avalanche of news constantly every single day from things that are happening in the cryptocurrency world. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, great day, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you for all of the support. I appreciate all of you. You guys are all awesome. And I will talk to you all soon. See you.